Welcome to Hatha practice. In today's practice, this will be an all-rounded practice that will have opportunity for gentle, slow, deep, and different expressions. So you'll get a little bit of everything in this practice. And as a focus point for this practice, let this part be a time for you to really go within yourself and let go of the outside. So notice how that deep kind of harnessing and connection to the deep inner self energetically is able to explore and expand from outside. So we'll start lying on the back. For today's practice, you'll need a couple blocks, a chip foam block, a bolster, potentially a strap. And then take your feet together and your knees wide into a reclined butterfly with the blocks underneath your knees. Finding the appropriate height so the knees don't have to work as hard. And you can take your arms up near your elbows wide and let your fingers touch perhaps for a double diamond position. So getting a little bit of a lift in the heart, opening up through the ribs. Just breathing. Deep inhale into the depth of your body. Sighing out the mouth. Inhale. Exhale. We'll start with an opening pranayama breath exercise here to help bring us more into our overall being. And the focus will be the breath into the posterior lateral rib cage, the upper outer ribs, and really focusing all your attention into the lungs and the upper thoracic spine. Take a cleansing breath into the nose. Exhale the breath out. And then start to figure the place of your upper ribs, the base of the heart, as you breathe into that center point. And just continue that simple focus. Inhale. And exhale. And then the next focal point for your breath, breathe into the front outer points of your hips. Feeling the lower belly, the lower ribs. arms out and line with your shoulders into a T position, letting the shoulders rest and settle. Continue breathing into your front of your hips and your low back for the next few breaths. And then from here, focus on your breath into your armpits, into the head of the shoulders, getting into the upper corners of your torso. Excuse me. Maybe sneeze if you have to. Continue breathing into those upper corners. A couple more of those upper body breaths. And now from here, start to breathe into your hips and your shoulders and your ribs. Breathe into the 3 points of awareness. And side out. Breathe into the 4 corners and the ribs. One more time. Place your palms now over your belly, your ribs. Just take a moment to feel the warmth and the energy from the hands into your belly, into your abdomen. Reminding yourself of your presence in this moment. Take the sound of Om, inhale. From there, press your feet together, help your hands outside your thighs to bring the knees in to touch. Walk your feet in a little bit. Bring your arms up in the cactus as you let your knees windshield wiper from side to side. Just releasing anything that may have come up in the low back and the sacrum. Let your knees fall over to the left, and you can take the block that's on the right side and place it between your knees. And bring your arms back in line with the shoulders. Just breathing in here for a minute or so. continue breathing into the areas that you are focused on. One more breath here on the first side. Inhale, come back to center. And then take your block on the left over to the right. Let's come over to the right for your twist on the second side. Nice and chill, really easy here. Breathe in. And breathe out. Keeping the nervous system chill. Inhale, come on back to center. And take your block off to the left so both blocks are on either side. Bring your knees towards your chest and just take a few moments there. And take your left foot on the ground or straight the left leg in front and bring your right thigh and knee towards your chest for Apanasana, knee to chest pose, wind relieving pose. Inhale. And gentle exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And just take some very slow stirs of that right thigh going clockwise. And going the other direction. And from here, bend your left knee and take your right foot on top of your left thigh for thread the needle. Optionally, keep your left foot on the ground. Now take your left foot off the ground, interlace your hands around your left shin below the knee, or behind the knee around the hamstrings, and just breathe into the outer right thigh and go inward and breathe deeply. Let your breath be a magnifying glass, pointing that specific area of the breath to where you would like to find more space and release in the body. Lower your left foot down on the exhale. And tip over towards the left. That block can catch the left knee if you like. Place your left hand on your right thigh as the right knee pushes a little bit forward. And focus your attention to the outer right thigh via T-band and breathing into the outer right side of your leg. Inhale, come on back to center. Bring your knees into your chest. Exhale, sigh. And then take your right leg out in front. Hug your left thigh towards your chest. Breathing in here. Allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. It's okay to process and to really bring a little bit of tenderness into yourself and with your breath. Let the breath tickle and trickle in and around you, aiding in the releasing of the parasympathetic nervous system. And then go ahead and start to take a couple circles in one direction. And then switching directions. From there, take your right foot down on the ground, placing your left foot on your right thigh, and you can pick your right foot up off the floor if you thread the needle. Breathing into your left hip and thigh here. On your next exhale, let the right foot come down and tip over towards the right. Let the right knee rest on the block as the left foot comes flat on the right side. Push your left thigh slightly forward and away from you with your right hand. Breathing into your outer left thigh. Inhale to land back to center. Hug both knees into the chest now. And start to roll your pelvis around the clock a couple times in one direction and then the other direction. And from there, press your feet down to the ground. Locate one of your blocks. Lift your hips up and take your block flat beneath your sacrum for supported bridge. As you find supported bridge here, start to reach your arms up overhead to the ceiling and just start to circle the arms in one direction. Massaging into the shoulders. And reverse direction from there. And then go ahead and take your right arm under your left arm, taking your hands to either shoulder, and just start to breathe into your upper back. Go ahead and bring the right arm over the left arm, opposite hand to shoulder, and breathe into your body, your upper back and shoulders. Slowly exhale. Walk your feet in, lift your hips up, and taking your block off to the right as your spine comes down. From there, we'll take some more active spinal rolls. So let the shoulders come down a little bit. Spread your fingers wide as you press down through your palms. Breathe in through your nose into your back body. Exhale, lengthen your tailbone forward. Carefully press down through the feet, all 10 toes, heels, all the fingers, and lift up through your hips. Continue lifting up higher without any sensation happening in the knees. As you exhale, slowly lower down for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a breath in. Contract your pelvic floor, firm your belly as your ribs wrap into your back as you inhale. Let your breath in help you come up this time. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Good, 2 more of those. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Good, and from there let your knees windshield wiper side to side a few times. Good. Hug your knees into your chest. Take a breath, inhale. As you exhale, have your hands behind your knees as you roll up to your seat. And roll forward onto your hands and your knees. As you make your way to your hands and your knees, take your blocks at the front of your mat and a trip foam block to the left if you have it. As you arrive into your hands and your knees, flip your fingers around so your fingers face to the front, to the knees, and your wrists face the front of the mat. From there, send your hips back and lift your chest through as you inhale gently. Exhale into round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Release one hand and shake it out gently, followed by the other. Good. From here, reach your right arm out to the right. Exhale, thread underneath, but fold and hover. Inhale, reach your right arm to the right and up. Exhale, thread underneath to the left. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, thread underneath to the left. Now from there, carefully bring your right arm down. Slide your left palm forward as you come onto the top of that right arm. Tent your left fingertips. Good, and then breathe into your right shoulder. Exhale. Place your left palm down, reach your right arm up, breathe in. And exhale, bring your right palm down. Switching sides, inhale, reach your left arm up. Exhale, let your left arm thread through and hover. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Exhale, thread underneath to the right. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread. And then bring the left arm, upper arm down. And then walk your right hand more forward. You can tent the fingertips if you like. And breathe into your left arm. One more breath here, deep breath inward. Exhale. Inhale, release your left arm up. And exhale, bring your left hand down. From there, step your feet forward and take your hands on top of your blocks and come into a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Bend your knees, sending your hips back and your chest forward and down. We'll take a few halfway lifts here, Ardha Uttanasana. Press down through your hands as you pull your wrists back and hug your elbows and shoulders into each other. Inhale, lengthen your tailbone back and extend your chest forward. Exhale, reach the chest forward, through and down. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Interlace your hands behind you, touching the heels of your hands together, and you can keep your hands on your low back if you like, and lift your hips up, straighten your legs, or hug the elbows in, reach your arms behind you, up to the ceiling if you like, and behind you. Firm your belly as you wrap your ribs in, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. And exhale, release your hands down your legs. Take your right hand outside of your left ankle and take your left hand on your low back. Bend your right knee, extend your left leg, and inhale, open your chest and torso to your left hand side. Inhale. And exhale. Come out of the breath on the inhale and switch sides. Continue reaching your sternum forward as your hips reach back at the same time. Bend into your left knee, straighten your right leg, breathe in and turn open to your right. Inhale out. Exhale, fold. Take your peace fingers around your big toes and thumbs over your peace fingers for Padangusthasana, big toe grab. Bring your elbows out wide and bring your elbows slightly in so you can keep your shoulders more on your back. Inhale, extend your chest forward. Exhale, gently bow it down. And then lift up one foot at a time, taking it over the whole palm on either side, coming into a gorilla pose or hand to foot pose, Padangusthasana. Breathe into your back body. And then walk your hands away from your feet. Bend your knees, take your hands on your outer hips, and take your elbows back behind you. Firm your belly as you draw your ribs and pelvic floor in and up. And then from there, bend your knees and begin to ragdoll your spine up. Vertebra on vertebra, vertebra on vertebra. Careful with the low back here as you come up to standing. Roll your shoulders back. Step your feet in a little bit. Now, bring your feet as wide as your hips width apart, and think of that the outer hips width apart are the outer hips bones of your pelvis. So this idea of 2 fists width apart is only applicable if your hips actually happen to be that wide. Think more about your skeletal variation as opposed to your aesthetic cueing, right? So we get quite confused about that, especially teachers that are not trained in that structural anatomy. So my feet are definitely wider for me than 2 fists width apart. And I tend to turn my toes out just a little bit to let my knees have a bit more external rotation. So with that being said, go ahead and bend the knees, press down through your big toe, baby toe, the circle of each of your heels, and claw them out with all of your other toes, and feel the arches extend and lift. Hug the inner thighs together, roll them slightly back, and lengthen your tailbone down and behind you, firming the belly in and up. And then bring your arms out wide, little bend in the elbows as you reach up for Urdhva Hastasana. Get your palms together as you lift up. Exhale, bring the hands right down the midline to the heart center. 2 more, inhale. Good. From there, turn your elbows and inner forearms together like a seam, like a zipper seam. You're bringing them together. Press into your arms as you inhale, lift your elbows up a bit until when the elbows really want to separate, flip the top of the hands and breathe in, lift up overhead. Exhale, take your arms out wide and behind you. Hook your thumbs, bend your knees, lift up the chest just a touch for a back bend. Exhale, sweep the arms forward. Bring your forearms in, elbows together, inhale, lift up. Flip and reach up. Push away. Hook the thumbs. Find a little back bend without your ribs jutting forward. Exhale. One more. And lifting up. Inhale, reach the arms up. Taking your left hand to your right wrist, push the palms up. Just a little lift up and over to the left. Even if you can go further, just find about halfway, not all the way. Lift out through your waist, send your hips out to the right, and breathe into your back, ribs, your hips, and your shoulders. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release. Bring the arms back up. Take your right hand to your left wrist, push up. And over towards your right as you stretch at the left side very gently. Couple more breaths, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come on back up. Exhale, bring the hands forward, out, and behind with the palms down on your low back. With your fingers facing down and your elbows slightly in, inhale into a little back bend. Lift your chest up, tailbone back. Hug your ribs in, continue leaning up through the waist. As you exhale, bend the knees and fold over your legs. Sliding the hands down the backs of the legs to the heels. Find your halfway lift as you inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Now from there, reach your arms forward and wide, elbows bend, and find a nice relax in the fingertips for chair pose, Utkatasana. We'll start the flow back and forth between Utkatasana and Urdhva Hastasana. Inhale, slow and control, reach the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, pull the shoulders back a little bit as you sit back through your hips and heels into Utkatasana. Inhale, energizing your legs, lift up and out. And then forward and back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. And exhale. Good. From there, take your hands on your hips, take your feet out wide and sit into Malasana squat. You can place your hands on your thighs to help lower down partially. Good. Now our next little movement will be between squat and forward fold. So you can take your hands on, or your forearms on your inner thighs and knees, lift your chest up, breathe in. Breathe out. You can take your hands on the mat or on your blocks as you inhale, send your hips back. Turn your toes in, fold forward. Inhale, turn your feet out, sit back into squat. Exhale, send the hips back, feet in, forward fold. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, charge those legs as you lift and fold forward. Good. From there, inhale, walk your feet in a little bit more if your hips are apart, and find your halfway lift. Step your right foot back. Take your blocks on their highest settings, scoot your left foot forward, and then sit your left thigh a bit more into your lunge position. Push off of your right toes, and you can always place your right knee down on the mat or on a chip foam block. I'm going to keep my right knee lifted here though. Hug those inner thighs towards the midline. Push off of your right toes as you sit back more into your left thigh. Next option here, go ahead and start to walk your hands up of your left knee and thigh, lift up through your chest, pushing off with the right toes a bit more. Link your right hand to your chest as you help lift up into your hand. And next option, bring your arms out with your elbows bent into a T shape or cactus, kind of like a field goal shape. And perhaps reach your arms forward and out, turn your thumbs out, pinkies in, finding that nice victorious opening across the chest. Lift up a bit more, find a bit more of an extension. Hug the inner thighs more together and push the feet away to stay hugging into center. And contract your pelvic floor and tone your rib cage back and in. Lift up a bit more. Last breath here in this back bend. As you exhale, place the right hand down to the right and open your left torso, left chest open towards the side for a twist. Exhale, release your left hand down to that block. Release your blocks down on either side and place your palms down. From there, step your left foot back into your first downward facing dog or rest on your tabletop, which would be hands and knees, child's pose, or on your bellies. Press down through the base of your thumb and index finger mounds, inner and outer edge of your wrist creases, and same goes for all of your finger mounds. Feel like you're really suction cupping, clawing that with your hands. Bend your knees a little bit, reach your hips back. Good. And then turn your arms, hug your biceps together, turn your elbows slightly down, and hug your inner arms together as you lift out more through your hips and through your waist. Keeping those shoulders on the back, keep lifting up higher. Lift up more through your lats, through your armpits, through your hips, your spine, nice deep stretch. And from there, come forward into plank position. Walk your feet back a little bit for a bit more length in your spine. Hug your elbows and shoulders together. Lengthen your crown of your head forward. Look forward in front of you. Zipper up your pelvic floor, inner thighs, firming those bellies in. Exhale, lower your knees, bend your chest and your chin for Ashtangasana, 8-point posture. Slide forward as you point your toes back and find cobra position, nice and low with your chest. Exhale, lower. Tuck your toes. Bring your knees wide, send your hips back to your heels. Child's pose, Balasana. Let your forehead be heavy. Walk your hands off to the left and place your right hand on top of your left, resting your forehead on your mat. Breathe into your right rib cage and lungs. Inhale to your center and over towards the right. Place your left hand on your right hand and roll the forehead down to the ground. Inhale. Inhale back to center. Exhale. Come forward to your hands and your knees. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg back. Three-legged dog. Exhale, step your right foot to your right thumb and pause. Find your blocks. Again, the left knee can always come down to the mat, or bring your right knee a little bit more forward and your hips a little bit lower. Pushing off the left toes, walk your hands up with your right thigh, setting into that midway lunge option. Place a hand on the belly to feel the ribs drawing back, supporting that lower spine. You can take your left hand now on your heart and lift your heart into your left hand, sternum, breastbone reaching forward and up to that nice extension. Press off of your left toes, continuing that nice lift up to the crown of the head. If you would like to bring the arms out wide, go ahead. Maybe all the way up as you bring your shoulders down your back. Turn your thumbs out and pinkies in, lift up a bit higher. And then exhale, slowly roll yourself down. Take your block underneath your left hand and open your right arm to the ceiling for a twist. Couple more breaths here. Exhale, release your right hand to your block and step your left foot slowly and mindfully back to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Sit back into chair pose, slow and mindful as you reach your arms forward and your shoulders on your back. Press down through your feet as you inhale and lift up to a bit of a back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. Shift your right foot into the middle and forward of the mat, and take a little step back with your left foot. Okay, so some people like to have the heels in alignment with each other. Some people like to have the right heel to bisect the left middle arch. I like to have my left foot a little bit wider than hips width apart, and my right foot as well for that matter. And then bend your right knee, take your right hip slightly back, left hip slightly forward, and reach your arms forward as you pull your shoulders back into their sockets. And then reach the arms out for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Sit more through your right thigh as you push through your left heel and hug the inner thighs together. As you keep the hugging of the inner thighs together, push away through your feet so you feel a slight bit more engagement through the back of the legs. Now from there, lift up more through your sternum, out through your fingertips as your shoulders lean back and down. Now find more depth in your right thigh, but keep lifting out from your left toes, out through your fingertips. Take your arms out in line with your shoulders. Take a slight extension of that right knee and take your right arm forward. Keep reaching back through your left arm as you now bang the right arm inside of the right leg for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Now you can keep the right fingertips on the ground, or you might take a block underneath your right hand just for a little bit of support on any height for that matter too. You can just be the flattest height with the fingertips or the whole palm on top of the block if you wish. Good, from there, keep taking your left hip bone forward and in, and your right hip bone back and away. Open up your chest more towards the left side, lifting up through the fingertips in either direction. Maybe coming down to that right palm for a bit more depth. You can take a half bind, take that left top of the hand behind your back, and then maybe take the left fingertips around the right thigh, and just start to find a half bound Trikonasana. Ardha Baddha Trikonasana. Inhale, come on up to the arms and out the shoulders. Take the bend out of the right knee. While we're here, we'll find exalted triangle. Take your chest to face forward. Bring your right arm in and up towards the ceiling and take it back. And think about the line from the left foot all the way up to the right fingertips. Very nice opening to the right side of your waist. Breathing in. Inhale, come on back. Take your hands on your hips and heel toe your left foot forward. And then step the left foot forward into mountain pose. Close the eyes as you breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And out. Good. From there, you can reposition, walk. Shift your left foot into the front center of the mat and step your right foot back about a 1.5 to 2/3, just as a general rock point. Okay? And then find the width that works for your legs and your feet. It will be different for everyone's body. Bend your left knee a little bit forward, pushing away through your right foot up to the right edge of the heel. And then take your arms forward and up for warrior one variation here, coming into there. Okay, and treat each side differently. Every side is always different. Sit more through your left thigh, push away through your right foot, and lift up through your waist. Sit more into your left thigh as you keep pushing away through that right heel, breathing into that right inner thigh. Good. From there, reach up a little bit higher. Exhale, take your arms out into your shoulder height. Walk your right foot in just a little bit. Take the bend out of that left knee and take your right arm back, but keep that right arm reaching back as your left arm reaches forward and down inside of your left leg and foot. And reach your right arm up for triangle position, Trikonasana. Now you have your block handy if you want to use your block. Remember, you have it there if you'd like to use it. Personally, I am always a fan of props, as they help to enhance and refine and even find more maturity in the body, the mind, and the breath. Turn your right hip bone forward and in, and your left hip bone back, and then push away through your right hip, breathing through your right thigh. And then you can take that top of the right hand to the low back, finding half bound triangle, Ardha Baddha Trikonasana on the left side. Open your chest towards the right, pushing away through your feet. One more big breath. Inhale, come on back up. Take your right hand to your right thigh, reach the left arm up for exalted triangle. Bend into the left knee a little bit. Reach your left arm back and away. Push away through your right foot as you reach away through your left fingertips. Inhale, come back. As you exhale, take your hands on your hips. This time, instead of coming back forward, turn and pivot your right foot to face the front. So now your feet are both facing the front. Good. Now from there, place your hands down on either side of your left foot. Have your blocks there if you need them. And then step your left foot all the way back into a three-legged downward dog. Take your left hip on top of your right hip. Reach out through your left thigh. And lower your left foot down to your mat to down dog. Bending into the knees a bit. Really repurposing the fingers and the elbows, the hands, everything working, hugging into the midline, reaching the hips back and up. Inhale, come forward to your last plank pose. For a few moments coming into side plank with your left foot in front of your right knee. Outer edge of your right foot supporting you as you lift your hips high and bring your shoulders more over each other. Breathe in. As you exhale, thread your left arm underneath to the right. Use your torso to turn. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn underneath. Lift up. And turn. Inhale. Exhale, switch sides. Reach up through your right arm. Exhale, thread underneath the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread. One more, inhale, lift. And thread. Bring it up. Switch. Lower down to your hands and your knees. And take your fingers to face back towards your knees and wrist forward to find that wrist release once more. Good. Send your hips back to your heels so the heels of the hands start to lift off, getting a bit more intensity into your fingers. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And out. Release the hands one at a time, shaking out those wrists. Take the tops of the hands down for a moment, the counter stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shake it out. Awesome. We'll find a toe squat while we're here on the knees. Tuck all 10 toes underneath you, and you can take your fingers to your pinky toes and help them come down too if you notice you're trying to run away. And if you have a chip foam block and it helps you, then you can bring that between your bum and your heels. Roll the shoulders back, lift up through the crown of the head, and breathe in deeply. Breathe into the front of the hips, front of the shoulders, and the back of your ribs once again. More. Bring your arms up overhead. Take your right hand to your right shoulder, left hand on top of your right elbow. Lift up and over towards your left, out through your waist, out through your toes, breathing into the right side of your body. Lean back a bit more as you lift up and over to the left more. Back up the center, shake out the arms, relax the shoulders, and then taking the other side. Take your left hand to your left shoulder, right hand on your left elbow, lift up, and over to the right. Breathe in. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release your hands behind your backs. One more little back bend, lift up. Exhale, fold forward. Release the hands now in front of you. Take your chip foam block off to the right. Coming off the toe pads very slowly as they take a little bit of time to recalibrate and recirculate the blood into the feet as a whole. And you can wiggle the toes around, rolling the ankles out. And tap the tops of the feet out. Come back onto your shins. Tend your fingertips on the other side of you for an ankle stretch. Press down to the tops of the feet. Lift up through your shins for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 4, 1. Exhale, release your shins. And take yourself off and take your legs out. Tapping out your knees, calves, and hamstrings. Good. From there, take your sit bones on a block. Take your right leg on the front and your left foot to the inside of the right thigh. You can use your strap here as you take the strap around the ball of the right foot. Otherwise, use your hands accordingly. Inhale, lift your chest up. And exhale, carefully bow your chest down the right leg. And then take your right hand in the strap, hug your right elbow inside of your right knee, careful on the knee joint. Take your left hand into your left thigh, rolling your left thigh out. And then turn your chest open to the left as you find revolved Janu Trikonasana. Reach the left arm up. Turn your ribs to the left. And then bring the left arm behind the head, hand behind the head, reaching the shoulders together, lifting up more through the crown of the head. One more breath here. Slowly release as you come on up. Good, and then take your left hand behind you. Keep pushing through your right leg, inhaling. Exhale, take a little twist towards your left. Inhale. Gentle twist to the left. Inhale the left arm up. And then from there, bend your right knee and heel in. Switching sides, take your right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Take the strap around the ball of the left foot. Good, and from there, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Nice big breaths into the back of the ribs. Take your left hand inside the strap and the knee, elbow to knee. Roll your right thigh out and down, pinning down your right sitting bone, and turn your chest more towards the right and bring the right shoulder back. And bring the right arm up. Keep lifting out in all directions. Take the right hand behind the head, reach the right elbow back, lift up more. Lift up, inhale. And up and over towards your left a bit more. Take a few more breaths here to explore. Last breath. release as you come up. And then using the left hand on the strap, go ahead, bring your right arm out to the right side, breathe in. Exhale, twist open towards your right. One more breath. Inhale, bring the right arm forward. From there, bend your knees and round yourself into neutralize. And we'll sit up for Shavasana in a supported fish position. So take your two blocks at the back of your mat. Have the one block flat and then the second behind it on its second height, with your chip foam block resting up against the flat block. Take your bolster against those props, and then find your second bolster, if you have them, underneath your knees. You can take a blanket and use that blanket just for a little bit of extra support underneath the Achilles tendon, ankle region, which the blanket can support underneath. And then the eye pillow can come over top of your forehead, blocking out any light or distraction around you. And if you have a second blanket, you can always add it as a little roll or a little cover at the back of the neck to further support the cervical spine in its release. And slowly start to come back into a fuller breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes and work up into the other parts of the body that follow. And bend the knees and place the feet to the floor. If you have something covering the face, letting that come off to the side as well. Roll off of your props to your left and up to a seat on your bolster. Resting the palms down on the knees, ground the energy into the floor. And taking a breath in. And out. We slow down and dive in right inside. We listen to our breath and our body and take the time. We're not in a rush to get anywhere in a specific way. There is so much to be discovered that we may never have even realized before. Place your left hand over your heart, and your right hand over top. Feeling the warmth in the hands to the heart, and the heart to the hands. Take a full breath in. Now to Om. Keep practicing